evidence would you want to collect to pursue a potential medical negligence case against an LTAC in the US? That's today's topic. My name is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com, and this is another quick tip for families in intensive care. Now, in my last video, I talked about if LTACs in the US don't provide ICU care for a ventilated and tracheostomy patient, is it medical negligence? So following on from that, we had a few questions from viewers and subscribers and clients coming in. What would be the evidence to collect? And let's break that down. Obviously, number one would be medical records, a complete set of medical records, and request all of the following: admission records, reason for transfer to LTAC, initial patient condition, daily progress notes, doctor, nurse notes, respiratory therapies, etc., etc. Ventilator checks, tracheostomy care, oxygen levels, suctioning, vital sign logs, anytime there were drops in oxygen saturation, blood pressure, etc. Medication records, especially sedatives, antibiotics, emergency drugs, but all medication records would be important. Ventilator logs, alarms triggered, mode changes, settings, and documentation of ventilator management. Emergency response records, medical emergencies, or code blues, called rapid response team notes, if any. Transfer requests or 911 calls or the absence of them. God forbid, death summary certificate important for cause of death listed. Also look out whether they were contemplating an autopsy. Never ask just for a summary. Ask for the entire chart and say all handwritten and electronic notes, respiratory logs, monitored data. Next, ask for policies and protocols. Ask in writing for the LTAC's policy for managing tracheostomy patients on ventilators, their emergency transfer policy when patients deteriorate. If they refuse to give it, your lawyer or attorney can subpoena it later, but asking now shows that you are serious. And that's why I'm always saying every hospital, every LTAC works with policies and procedure. Nothing is going to happen in a hospital or in an LTAC without a policy or procedure, right? The best analogy that I can always give, because I've worked in hospitals for so long, right? Mopping the floor, cleaning the windows has a policy. So ventilation and tracheostomy care definitely has a policy, right? Next, staffing information. You want to find out nurse to patient ratios. At the time, should not be 1 nurse for 10 ventilated patients, for example, but it often is in an LTAC, right? That shows our experience. Next, qualifications of staff. Were there licensed respiratory therapists on site? Did they have critical care trained nurses that are ventilator and tracheostomy competent? Understaffing or untrained staff is often a major negligence point, especially in LTACs. Next, witness accounts. If you or others witnessed anything such as alarms being ignored, delays in care, visible distress of patient without response, write it down while it's still fresh. Date, time, what you saw or heard, names of staff, if possible, that were involved. Family observations can be powerful evidence. Number 5, communication records. Say if any emails, texts, or messages between you and the facility, notes from meetings or calls with doctors, nurses, or administrators, especially if you raise concerns that were brushed off. Number 6, expert review. Malpractice attorney will usually hire a pulmonologist, critical care nurse, specialist, or LTAC expert to review the records. Get an expert opinion on whether the standards of care were breached. You don't need the expert yet. First, focus on gathering the documentation. We are the experts here. We do medical record reviews that focus on medical negligence here at intensivecarehotline.com. And lastly, start building a simple timeline of events, date of LTAC admission, any worsening events, i.e. respiratory distress, drop in blood pressure, drop in oxygen levels, etc. Dates, times of family visits or calls, date, time of death, if that is what you are pursuing here. It will help the lawyer attorney to see the sequence of the negligence. And what have I been saying for over 10 years here on this channel? Never let your loved one go from ICU to LTAC. Things will go from bad to worse. Patients often bounce back into ICU within less than 24, 48 hours. Because they're simply not ready. LTACs are not equipped to look after ventilated and tracheostomy patients. They Patients go from ICU level care to a standard of care that is not even the better version of a nursing home. Staff are not critical care trained. Doctors are not on site. The only alternative from intensive care to going to LTAC, the alternative is to use intensive care at home. But never, ever let your loved one go to LTAC. You'll regret it. Let me know what you think. I have worked in critical care nursing for 25 years in 3 different countries, where I worked as a nurse manager for over 5 years in critical care. And I've been consulting and advocating for families in intensive care since 2013 here at intensivecarehotline.com. And I can very confidently say that we have saved many lives for our clients in intensive care and their families in intensive care. And you can verify that if you go on our testimonial section at intensivecarehotline.com, or if you go to our intensivecarehotline.com podcast section where we've done client interviews. And our advice is absolutely life-changing. Like I said, we have saved many, many lives for our clients in intensive care. And you can join a growing number of clients and members that we have helped over the years, hundreds of them. Again, you can look up our testimonial section, our podcast section. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of members and clients over the years to improve their lives instantly when they have a loved one critically ill in intensive care, by making sure they make informed decisions, have peace of mind, control, power, influence, making sure their loved ones always get best care and treatment. And that's why I do one-on-one consulting over the phone, Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, whichever medium works best for you. I talk to you and your families directly. I handhold you through this once-in-a-lifetime situation that you simply cannot afford to get wrong. And when I talk to you one-on-one directly, I set you up with the right questions to ask. I walk you through the intensive care experience step by step. I tell you what to expect, what to look for. The biggest challenge for families in intensive care is simply that they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what to look for. They don't know what questions to ask. They don't know their rights, and they don't know how to manage doctors and nurses in intensive care. That's exactly what you are up against. And I also talk to doctors and nurses directly with you or on your behalf, or I set you up with the right questions to ask. And when I talk to doctors and nurses directly in intensive care, I ask all the questions that you haven't even considered asking, but must be asked when you have a loved one critically ill in intensive care. I also represent you in family meetings with intensive care teams so that you do have professional advocacy in family meetings and during family meetings, so you know what to ask, how to present yourself so that you don't get walked all over. We also do medical record reviews in real time so that you can get a second opinion in real time. We also do medical record reviews after intensive care or LTAC so that if you have any unanswered questions, if you need closure, or if you are suspecting medical negligence. We also have a membership for families of critically ill patients in intensive care. And you can become a member if you go to intensivecarehotline.com, if you click on the link, on the membership link, or if you go to intensivecaresupport.org directly. In the membership, you have access to me and my team 24 hours a day in the membership area and via email. And we answer all questions intensive care related. In the membership, you also have exclusive access to 21 ebooks, 21 videos that I've personally written and recorded that are exclusively accessible only for our members. And all of that will help you to make informed decisions, have peace of mind, control, power, and influence, making sure your loved one gets best care and treatment always. And all of that you get at intensivecarehotline.com. Call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website, or simply send us an email to support@intensivecarehotline.com with your questions. And if you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families in intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share the video with your friends and families. Comment below what you want to see next, what questions and insights you have. I also do a weekly YouTube live where I answer your questions live on a show, and you will get notification for the YouTube live if you are a subscriber to my YouTube channel, or if you are a subscriber to my intensivecarehotline.com email newsletter at intensivecarehotline.com. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.